Herodotus, a Greek from the city of Halicarnassus in Asia Minor, is widely acclaimed as the father of history, a title bestowed upon him by the Roman orator Cicero. Born around 484 BC, he lived during a pivotal period of Greek history, witnessing the aftermath of the Greco-Persian Wars and the flourishing of Athenian democracy. But his life's work, The Histories, is a groundbreaking account of the wars between the Greek city-states and the Persian Empire. But it is so much more than a mere military chronicle. Herodotus was a pioneer of historical inquiry, traveling extensively throughout the known world to gather information for his magnum opus. His journeys took him to Egypt, where he sailed up the Nile, marveling at the pyramids and the intricate religious rituals of the ancient Egyptians. He ventured into the vast Persian Empire, reaching as far as Babylon with its magnificent ziggurats and hanging gardens, a wonder of the ancient world. He explored the Scythian lands, the wild, wind-swept steppes north of the Black Sea, documenting the nomadic tribes' unique customs and fierce warrior culture. In each land he visited, Herodotus was not just a passive observer. He was an active investigator, a curious ethnographer, and a captivating storyteller. He interviewed priests, soldiers, merchants, and common folk, collecting a vast array of oral histories, legends, and personal anecdotes. He meticulously recorded details about geography, climate, flora, and fauna, painting a vivid picture of the world as he saw it. His descriptions of Egyptian mummification are so detailed and accurate that they have been corroborated by modern archaeological findings. He wrote about the silent trade between the Carthaginians and a tribe on the coast of Africa, a fascinating example of cross-cultural interaction. He even described the gold-digging ants of India, giant, furry creatures that were likely a misunderstanding of marmots or another burrowing animal. While some of his accounts were fantastical, Herodotus himself often expressed skepticism, carefully distinguishing between what he had seen and what he had been told. He would often present multiple versions of a story, leaving it to the reader to decide which one they found most plausible. This critical approach, this desire to understand the causes and effects of events, is what sets Herodotus apart from earlier chroniclers. He was not content to simply list the deeds of kings and the outcomes of battles. He wanted to understand the why behind the what. He sought to explain the origins of the conflict between the Greeks and Persians, tracing it back to a series of mythological and historical grievances. His narrative is a rich tapestry of digressions, a sprawling, encyclopedic work that covers everything from the history of Lydia to the customs of the Amazons. He tells the story of Croesus, the fabulously wealthy king of Lydia, who misinterpreted a prophecy from the oracle at Delphi and brought about his own downfall. He recounts the tale of the Battle of Marathon, where a small Athenian force defeated a much larger Persian army, a victory that became a symbol of Greek freedom. He describes the heroic last stand of the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae, a story of courage and sacrifice that has resonated through the ages. He narrates the naval battle of Salamis, where the cunning Athenian general Themistocles lured the Persian fleet into a narrow strait and destroyed it. But Herodotus does not just celebrate Greek victories. He also shows a remarkable degree of empathy for the Persians, portraying them as a complex and sophisticated people. He describes the Persian postal system, the royal road, a marvel of engineering and communication that connected the vast empire. He even includes a debate among Persian nobles about the best form of government, a surprising inclusion that shows his interest in political philosophy. Herodotus's work was not without its critics, both in his own time and in later centuries. Some accused him of being a logographer, a mere storyteller who embellished his accounts for dramatic effect. The historian Thucydides, who wrote about the Peloponnesian War, criticized Herodotus for his inclusion of myths and legends, advocating for a more scientific and objective approach to history. Plutarch, a later Greek historian, wrote an essay titled On the Malice of Herodotus, accusing him of being biased against certain Greek city-states. Despite these criticisms, Herodotus' influence on Western literature and historiography is undeniable. He created a new genre of writing, one that combined storytelling with investigation and entertainment with instruction. His work was widely read and copied throughout the ancient world, inspiring countless other writers and thinkers. He set a precedent for a more inclusive and cosmopolitan view of the world, one that recognized the value of different cultures and perspectives. He showed that history is not just about the powerful and the famous, but also about the ordinary people whose lives are shaped by larger events. He understood that history is a complex and multifaceted discipline, one that requires a combination of empirical evidence, critical thinking, and imaginative interpretation. In the end, Herodotus' legacy is not just that of the father of history, but also that of the father of anthropology, the father of ethnography, and the father of travel writing. He was a man of insatiable curiosity, a tireless traveler, and a master storyteller who forever changed the way we understand our past. His histories remain a testament to the power of human inquiry and the enduring quest to make sense of the world and our place in it. Herodotus' method of historia, which means inquiry in Greek, involved a systematic collection and critical evaluation of evidence. He traveled to the Black Sea port of Olbia to learn about the Scythians, a people who had no written language of their own. He described their elaborate burial rituals, which involved sacrificing horses and servants to accompany their kings into the afterlife. He also noted their use of cannabis in a steam bath for ritual purification, a detail that has been confirmed by archaeological discoveries of braziers and hemp seeds. In Egypt, Herodotus was fascinated by the Nile, a river that seemed to defy logic by flooding in the summer, the driest time of the year. He recorded various theories about the source of the Nile's flood, including the melting of snows in a distant land, a surprisingly accurate guess. He was also intrigued by the Egyptian social structure, where women enjoyed a relatively high status compared to other ancient societies. He observed that in Egypt, women went to the market while men stayed at home to weave, a reversal of the Greek norm. Herodotus' account of the Persian Wars is not just a one-sided Greek perspective. He often presents the Persian point of view, that he portrays Xerxes, the Persian king who invaded Greece, not as a one-dimensional villain, but as a complex figure prone to hubris and emotional outbursts. He tells the story of Artemisia, the queen of Halicarnassus, Herodotus' own hometown, who fought for the Persians and was one of Xerxes' most trusted advisors. Herodotus' narrative style is often compared to that of Homer, with its epic scope, dramatic storytelling, and focus on the actions of great individuals. He frequently includes speeches, both real and imagined, to bring his characters to life and to explore their motivations. His work is filled with memorable anecdotes and short stories, such as the tale of Arion and the dolphin, or the story of the thief who robbed the treasury of the Egyptian king Ramsinitus. These stories, while not always historically accurate, serve to entertain the reader and to illustrate the customs and values of different cultures. Herodotus' work was likely intended for oral performance, to be recited at public festivals like the Olympic Games. This may explain the conversational, and sometimes rambling, nature of his writing style. He often addresses the reader directly, creating a sense of intimacy and shared discovery. The central theme of the histories is the clash between East and West, between the autocratic Persian Empire and the free Greek city-states. Herodotus saw the Greek victory as a triumph of freedom over slavery, of democracy over tyranny. However, he also warns against the dangers of hubris, or excessive pride, which can lead to the downfall of even the most powerful individuals and empires. The story of Croesus serves as a prime example of this theme, as his pride and misinterpretation of the oracle led to the loss of his kingdom. Herodotus' work also reflects a deep sense of divine justice, the idea that the gods will punish the wicked and reward the virtuous. He often attributes unexpected turns of events to the intervention of the gods or to the workings of fate. For centuries, Herodotus was known as the father of lies, as much as the father of history, due to the fantastical elements in his work. However, modern archaeology has increasingly vindicated Herodotus, confirming many of the details that were once dismissed as fiction. For example, the discovery of the ruins of the ancient city of Thonis Heracleion, which was submerged under the sea, confirmed Herodotus' account of a major port city at the mouth of the Nile. The remains of the Baris, a type of Egyptian cargo boat that Herodotus described in great detail, have also been found, matching his description almost perfectly. These discoveries have led to a renewed appreciation for Herodotus as a careful and honest observer, even if he was sometimes misled by his sources. Herodotus' work is a product of its time, a time of intellectual ferment and cultural exchange in the Greek world. He was influenced by the Ionian philosophical tradition, which emphasized rational inquiry and the search for natural explanations for phenomena. He was also a contemporary of the great Greek tragedians, and his work shares their interest in human drama, moral choices, and the role of fate. The final years of Herodotus' life are not well documented, but he is believed to have settled in the Greek colony of Thurii in southern Italy. It is there that he likely completed his great work, leaving behind a legacy that would shape the course of Western civilization. To read Herodotus today is to embark on a journey into the ancient world, guided by a curious, witty, and profoundly humane companion. He reminds us that history is not just a collection of dry facts, but a vibrant tapestry of human stories, waiting to be told and retold. Herodotus' curiosity was boundless, extending to the natural world as well as human affairs. He described the crocodiles of the Nile, noting that they had a symbiotic relationship with a bird that would clean their teeth. He wrote about the phoenix, the mythical bird that was said to live for 500 years before being reborn from its own ashes, a story he heard in Egypt. His work is a treasure trove of such wonders, a cabinet of curiosities from the ancient world. He was a master of characterization, creating memorable portraits of the key players in the Greco-Persian Wars. His depiction of Themistocles, the brilliant but ruthless Athenian leader, is particularly nuanced. He shows how Themistocles used trickery and deception to achieve his goals, but always in the service of Athens. Herodotus also had a keen eye for irony, often highlighting the unexpected and paradoxical nature of events. He notes the irony of Xerxes, the man who commanded the largest army in history, being forced to flee back to Persia in a single, small boat. His work is a reminder that even the most powerful can be brought low, and that fortune is a fickle and unpredictable force. Herodotus' history is not a narrative, but a sprawling, associative work that follows the connections of his own curious mind. He might start with a story about a Greek city, which leads him to a story about a Persian satrap, which in turn leads to a description of a strange animal in a distant land. This unique structure makes reading Herodotus a journey of discovery, full of unexpected detours and fascinating surprises. He was, in essence, the world's first blogger, sharing his travels and his thoughts with a wide and curious audience. His work has been translated into countless languages and has been in continuous publication for over 2,400 years. It remains a foundational text of Western culture, a source of inspiration for historians, writers, artists, and travelers. The questions that Herodotus asked about the causes of war, the nature of freedom, the diversity of human culture are still relevant today. He teaches us to be curious, to be critical, and to be open to the stories of others. He shows us that the past is not a foreign country, but a part of who we are, a source of wisdom, warning, and endless fascination. Herodotus' travels were not without danger. He journeyed through lands that were often hostile to outsiders. He likely traveled by boat, by cart, and on foot, covering thousands of miles in his quest for knowledge. His ability to communicate with people from different cultures despite the language barriers, is a testament to his skill as an ethnographer. He was a keen observer of human nature, noting the universal emotions of love, greed, ambition, and fear that transcend cultural differences. His work is a celebration of human diversity, a recognition that there are many different ways of living and organizing a society. He describes the customs of the Massagetae, a tribe from Central Asia, whose queen, Tamiris, defeated and killed the Persian king Cyrus the Great. He tells the story of how Tamiris had Cyrus's head dipped in a bag of blood, a gruesome fulfillment of her promise to quench his thirst for war. Herodotus's inclusion of such stories, with strong female characters, is another aspect of his work that was unusual for his time. He also wrote about the legendary Amazons, a tribe of female warriors who were said to live near the Black Sea. While the Amazons were likely mythical, their story reflects a Greek fascination with, and perhaps anxiety about, powerful women who defied traditional gender roles. Herodotus's work is a bridge between the mythical world of Homer and the more rational world of later Greek philosophy and science. He stands at the dawn of a new way of thinking, one that would lay the foundations for Western civilization. His legacy is a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is a noble and worthwhile endeavor, one that can enrich our lives and broaden our understanding of the world. The father of history was more than just a historian. He was a geographer, an anthropologist, a journalist, and a storyteller. He was a man who traveled the world, not to conquer it, but to understand it. And in doing so, he gave us the gift of history, a gift that continues to inform and inspire us to this day. Herodotus' writing is filled with a sense of wonder at the diversity of the world. He describes the silent trade on the African coast with a sense of awe at the ingenuity of human communication. His account of the Battle of Pelusium, where the Egyptians were defeated because the Persians used cats, sacred to the Egyptians, as shields, is a classic example of his eye for the bizarre. He was fascinated by the different religious beliefs he encountered, from the animal-headed gods of Egypt to the fire worship of the Persians. He approached these different beliefs not with judgment, but with a genuine desire to understand their meaning and significance. His work is a powerful argument for cultural relativism, the idea that different cultures should be understood on their own terms. He tells the story of the Greek tyrant Polycrates of Samos, who was so lucky that he tried to throw away his most prized possession, a beautiful ring, to avoid divine jealousy. But the ring was found inside a fish that was served to him for dinner, a sign that he could not escape his fate. This story, like many in Herodotus, serves as a cautionary tale about the limits of human power and the inescapable nature of destiny. Herodotus' influence can be seen in the works of later Roman historians like Livy and Tacitus. His work was rediscovered in Europe during the Renaissance, and it had a profound impact on the development of modern historiography. The explorers of the Age of Discovery, like Christopher Columbus, were in a sense following in the footsteps of Herodotus, venturing into the unknown to bring back knowledge of new lands and peoples. Herodotus's work is a reminder that the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. He was a man who read the book of the world and shared its stories with all of us. His curiosity was a gift to humanity, a spark that ignited the flame of historical inquiry. He showed that understanding the past is essential for understanding the present and for shaping a better future. The father of history was not just a chronicler of events, he was a philosopher of human experience. He explored the great questions of life, the nature of happiness, the meaning of freedom, the struggle between order and chaos. His work is a timeless meditation on the human condition, as relevant today as it was in ancient Greece. He was a man who saw the world in all its complexity, its beauty, and its tragedy. And he had the wisdom to know that the story of humanity is a story without end. Herodotus' legacy is not just in the facts he recorded, but in the questions he asked. He taught us to question our own assumptions, to seek out different perspectives, and to never stop learning. He was the first great traveler of the mind, and his journey is one that we can all share. To read Herodotus is to be reminded of the power of a single, curious individual to change the world. He was a man who built a bridge to the past, and it is a bridge that we can still cross today. His histories are a monument to the human spirit, to our endless capacity for wonder, for inquiry, and for storytelling. Herodotus' travels took him to the edges of the known world, and his writings expanded the horizons of the Greek imagination. He described the nomadic tribes of Libya, who lived in caves and ate snakes and lizards. He wrote about the dog-headed men of India, a story that was likely a misunderstanding of a tribe that practiced a form of animism or had a dog as their totem animal. His work is a reminder that the line between fact and fiction was often blurry in the ancient world. But even his most fantastical stories often contain a kernel of truth, a distorted reflection of a real custom or belief. He was a collector of stories, curator of cultures, a man who saw the value in every human experience. His work is a testament to the idea that everyone has a story to tell, and that every story is worth listening to. Herodotus' Histories is not just a book, it is a conversation across the centuries. He speaks to us from the distant past, and his voice is as clear and as compelling as ever. He is the ultimate tour guide to the ancient world, a man who can make the past come alive with his words. To travel with Herodotus is to see the world through the eyes of a man who was endlessly curious, endlessly compassionate, and endlessly fascinated by the human story. And that is a journey that is always worth taking.